Well, good morning. It is really early. It is currently 4:40 a.m. Why am I up early this morning? I have to talk quietly because my kids are sleeping, so is my wife. But I am super excited. I could not sleep. You know when you have been having a goal and you wanted to do it for a while, and finally the day happens to where you're going to do it? Well, that is today. I've been wanting to do something at the church I work for about a year now, and just the circumstances never seem right. Well, today, no more excuses. We're going to start it today. I'm going to bring you along for the journey. But first, I am normally not a coffee drinker, but I got to make some coffee and I'm going to get headed to the office. And why am I doing this? Just a really quick reason why is I've been wanting to create content, and I feel like I'm in a creative slump, which I'll tell you more about later. And by making myself make a video almost every day, I'm not going to say every day, but almost every day, is going to get me out of my creative slump. So welcome to the journey. This is day 3 of uploading. It's Wednesday, January 2nd, before 5 a.m. Let's get it. Like I said, I normally am not a coffee drinker. For some reason, I feel like drinking coffee this morning. I normally don't wake up this early. I wake up pretty much the same time every day, but not this early. But I did read a book with my kids called The Way of the Warrior, and it's by a former Navy SEAL. Actually, it's an AR book. So if you're a parent and you want an awesome AR book to read for your kids, this is the book to read. And so, but he also has another one that is for adults that's called, I don't even know where the coffee stuff is, that is called Extreme Ownership. Like I said, got started with a kid's book, got this book, love it. Absolutely love the Extreme Ownership book. I wish I was one of those cool YouTubers that had like pour over coffee, but I don't. But could make some awesome B-roll. All right, so it is currently 6:58 a.m. I had my coffee, which I never drink, and what have I been doing? I've been editing. I'm way backlogged on weddings, and so the way to catch up on backlogs is to quit complaining about your backlog and actually just start editing. And so that's what I do normally in the mornings before I go into my real job at the church, is I edit. But so let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. I'll just get the party started by telling you a little bit, and then I'll finish it whenever I'm at my office at the church. So I have been wanting to do a podcast at the church. And when I say podcast, normal churches, when they say, oh, let's do a podcast, normally what they do is they just take their sermon and they just post it and say, oh, that's a podcast. And that's great, and we do that also. You can check us out. We have podcasts like that, our messages. But I wanted to do a real podcast of us having dialogue. I believe that the church for so long has been so one person speaking, and I believe community and dialogue is where we can learn best. And so I've been wanting to start this dialogue, this podcast where we talk about topics that sometimes we don't talk about at church, or we just don't have time to talk about. And so today we're actually filming the first one, and we're going to be doing it with our children's church director, Jackie. We were having a conversation last week about it, and we have some ideas about what we're doing this year in our kids' church. And so instead of just doing an announcement video or giving, a segment of our Sunday morning service to talk about it, I decided let's have a dialogue, because there's some stuff that we're changing, and I have questions as a parent, and I know some of our church people may have questions and say, why are we doing this? How do we do it? And so instead of us just telling people to do something, we're going to have dialogue. We're going to talk about it. So that's what we're doing today. And so we're going to go over the setup, what microphones we're using, what podcast app, all that stuff. So it may actually be more than one video. We're going to film it today. I actually got to make an intro for it because I have to introduce it to the church on Sunday morning. I actually have to say what we're doing. And so I'm really pumped about it. So I'm going to grab my stuff, and the next shot you see, I got a lot of stuff to pack up too. I got C-stands and lights and all the jazz I have here in my office. And so it's still dark outside, but I am packing up, and the next shot will be in my office. Let's see. Yep. All packed up. All right. So this is my office at church. I am the first one here because I love routines. I don't like the holidays. People don't think I like the holidays because they think I don't like Christmas, but it's not true. I love Christmas. I just don't like the holidays because I'm a routine guy. I like when my kids go to school. I like whenever I get to work at the same time every day. I like to wake up at the same time every day. I just like routines. I like spontaneity too, like being spontaneous, doing crazy spontaneous things. This lighting is actually horrible in the office. I don't think I've ever filmed myself. If you don't know that, I don't like to film myself. I like to be behind the camera. So I just got to the office. I got to edit the podcast, edit the message to put up from Sunday, since we haven't been at work for New Year's Eve and New Year's. And so I need to edit the podcast, put it up. I got to write a script for announcement videos, and also got to get the cameras ready to film for that, because that's going to be happening this morning as well. And I got to write the script for the opening of the podcast, so I explain what's going on. So I got a busy day. This 30-day challenge of making a video every day may be kind of challenging, to be honest with you. And then I'm going to have some meetings throughout the day, talking about Sunday morning, and also about what we're going to talk about on the podcast with Jackie. And so I'm going to get to work. I'm setting up for the podcast right now. I've been busy all day. It's after lunch now, but I just got in some amazing packages. This is a Magic Carpet Pro slider, automatic motion, go back and forth. So what I want to do is to set up this slider as the main center shot, so it can get both of us going back and forth. Let's unbox it. I'm still waiting on one more package, but this right here is the linear, the Genie 2 linear. So a lot of times, whenever I'm filming, it's me by myself. And so I need, I always like a camera on a slider, but the problem is then I can't be watching my person I'm interviewing. And so I always like to do that so I can actually talk to the people, because I think that makes a better interview, is when they can actually see you. Ooh, fancy. So this is the Magic Pro, which is a 3-foot and a 2-foot. So combined all together, it is a 5-foot slider, 5-foot automatic slider. This is going to be crazy. So I'm gonna get this thing set up. I am setting this up in our youth cafe here at the church because I need a lot of space. And so I do have these brand new Benro Mach 3 carbon fiber tripods. That's what I'm gonna use to balance a 5-foot slider. You can't just use like one single head. And so this is all brand new. And so here you go. Hey, for the price, these things are legit. They come with a nice little cloth bag. Dropping tripods. Comes with a cloth bag. Really nice. Really nice grips. Screw legs. Awesome. So here is the SERP Magic Carpet. I think I'm having a little bit of problems because it seems like it's bouncing. I'm gonna go ahead and start it. And earlier when I had the fluid head on, I had a Manfrotto 500 and it seemed like it was bouncing up and down. And this is just in the, going on a 3-foot track. I only got 3 foot right now. Because like I said, the pan and tilt head did not come in yet. And so I don't want to go all the way 5 foot unless I can do a parallax move. And so this is taking 35 seconds to go across 3 foot. I want to see what it looks like in post. But it seems like whenever I go fast backwards like this, it's not bouncing up and down. So I don't know. So this is being filmed on the C300 Mark II, which we will film the podcast on later. We just got a simple setup right here. I'll talk about that in just a second, but we're not gonna film today. We ran out of time setting this stuff up, so we're gonna film first thing in the morning. And so we'll just make part 2 of this video. So this is the setup that we're gonna use for the podcast tomorrow for the church. Things don't always work out the way I want them to. I wanted to film today. I already filmed announcement videos we have a office back here that's green screen room with all the lights. We already did that, wrote the scripts. So I didn't get everything I wanted to get done today, but I still wanted to finish up with something saying, hey, that's part of video business at the church, is sometimes meetings happen and things get rushed, and that's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to rush the equipment, and I don't want to rush the dialogue. The dialogue to me is the most important in all this. The cameras aren't, because most people are probably not going to watch it. They're going to listen to it. And so, but I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to gear that I wanted to make sure the slider was working right. I wanted to make sure that the cameras are. So our setup is simple as this. Our main light, we're only going to use one light because, like I said, most of it's going to be audio. Our one main light is an LED flex panel. I think it's on 4% right now. That's how bright these things are. It's about 10 feet away from me. And that's going to be our main source of light. And then we're going to just use the room light. This is our youth cafe. Our youth auditorium, maybe I'll show you one day, is in a whole nother room. It sits like 250 kids. But this is our youth cafe. It's where kids hang out before, play video games. That's why it looks the way it does. Big, giant bean bags, by the way. But we're going to use the can lights dropping down just for some nice ambient light. And they also have the LED tape around the top, so that gives a nice look. And then behind me on this is some Edison type bulbs. So we use that, some cheap Edison bulbs behind us to light that. I think this gives us a nice warm feel, which is what we want. And then for our microphones, we're using the Rode podcasting mics, not the Procasters. These are the XLR ones. And we're going to go into a Zoom H6 is what we're going to use for that. And I do have a cloud preamp because these mics draw a lot of power and they hiss a lot. So when you talk in them, you have to up the gain of the H6, and it just brings some noise that I don't really want to work with post. And so what this is going to do, the cloud allows us to put a preamp on it, and it makes it a lot brighter and with no hiss. And then our other camera, so we're going to film with the C300 Mark II, which is the camera I'm filming on now. And that's going to be on the moving SERP Magic Pro slider. Then we're going to use an A7 III for the angle on me to cut that way. That's going to be shooting 4K as well. And then for the other angle, which is going to be on our kids church director, Jackie, she's going to be on an A6500, so it can recognize face and I don't have to worry about autofocus. And then on those, I will have a small HD monitor so we can look at it, make sure we're still recording that type of stuff, and some Rode Video Mic Pros. Didn't get everything I wanted to today, but this is our setup for podcast. And so episode tomorrow will be us actually probably talking about the dialogue, what we're going to talk about, because again, content is everything. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below or hit me up on my email. And again, this is a 30-day video challenge, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I have a lot more appreciation for people who make YouTube videos, because it's a lot to film yourself and get the work done that you need to. And so thank you for tuning in. See you tomorrow.